Okay, so it doesn't seem super duper stable even at this, but we'll hope that it works. I may have to reconfigure some things if I do stream at this, just so the text and stuff here is more readable. And I made the font size here bigger, but yeah, it might make sense, you know, like you do something like this to make that bigger. I don't think I have chat on here. I guess I could just stream with this for now. I'm kind of covering stuff up, but at least stuff would probably be a little more visible. So the one thing that I actually wanted to work on, which I was working on yesterday, and I can probably get done pretty quickly, just as something to show on the stream, is when a panel has tiles that are like disabled tiles, like these, where they're not actually a tile and they don't count towards the puzzle. I really think that the panel should be like dark there, and then the tiles themselves should have a little light area around them, so that it kind of differentiates between the two. That just means that when those tiles get generated, when those tiles get generated for each panel, let's see. So right now, that's each thing has a, hold on, let me move this down here. So each thing has, like, the panel is a root object, and then there's a background, which is of course the background part, which can be on or off, because some panels you might not want it, which probably means that I want to also be able to turn off those other things on each individual tile, but we'll not worry about that too much. And then there's a series of tiles, and each of those tiles has a sprite, which is whether it's filled in. I just add that to the actual tile itself because it was easier for now, rather than doing like a flip book of sprites. I just do a sprite that's on or off, and then there's another sprite that's on or off, which is that outline. So I just need to add basically for each of those a third object, which will be the background thing, which I've already built, and it's this puzzle panel tile background. So then that will go in there, and then that would, which I can probably set it up pretty quickly to look the way that I would want. So it would be eyedropper this. I don't know, I must have eyedroppered that line, or it just doesn't actually care what color is under it. But anyway, so that would be that color, say, for instance, and then this itself here would be a different color that's darker, like that. So you would have, I guess it's just me mocking it up, right? So you would sort of have, where is that tile? I don't even know where it ended up. Okay, it just ended up randomly, I guess. Well, anyway, we're not going to worry about that, but that's roughly how that's going to work, and I'll just generate them. So the first thing that I did was I added an object reference here to the prefab right here. So then, like when I do these, I need to assign the prefab. Okay, so that's what I was doing yesterday. So I should be able to go to the puzzle panel prefab itself and then change in the list here where I have a panel tile background prefab. I should be able to assign this puzzle panel tile background. And that should hopefully assign it to all of these. Okay, it did. So, because usually it's like if there's an unused field on all of the objects and you assign that field on the prefab, then it will assign it on all the objects, and so then you don't have to worry about changing all the instances. Okay, so what I need is if it's collidable, if it's clickable. Well, I haven't really thought about exactly when I want to assign these. I assume I would want to assign it when they're clickable, which would include the collidable ones. So we would do, oh geez, problem is I have to like instantiate that into an array. So let's see. So I need something that's like this, that's like, now these need to be like changed. This thing needs to be changed from block outline overlays to something else. It should be not block, but tile outline or something. Could just be outline overlays. I don't know, we'll go tile outline overlays. And so first thing we'll do is we'll check to make sure that didn't break anything, that there's nothing that's like referencing that. Doesn't look like it. All these warnings are annoying. Okay, so had any issues? Guess I have had a couple of drop frames, but it's not extremely terrible. Worst case scenario, I can dial the bitrate down even more. And then I guess I probably could drop the resolution if I adjust the stream to where it's more like this, where you can see more. Okay. So that needs to be an array. Like this. Of tile background. Let's just go like to this, where that gets instantiated, and we'll just instantiate that, and then here we'll do a tile backgrounds, instantiate that. I think I use a sprite there. But I haven't instantiated it, so where does that happen? Okay, so I go instantiate here. I go tile background, prefab. Yeah, okay. I wonder why I did it that way. Probably just to slightly offset it so that it would supposedly draw in front, but it really doesn't matter. 0.0. That is a mouthful of a instantiation routine. And then I gotta parent it, yeah, like this. Yeah, okay, that's correct. Also, this lit squares thing needs to be changed to from lit squares to just like tiles, but I think I actually set tiles to another thing here. So that's tough too. Because they're both slightly different. Okay, so that should instantiate a bunch of white squares for every tile. Don't know if it does it for... Okay, so it does do it for every tile. Alright, so now I just need to set those things color, which would be... If I go I think it would be color, right? Now if I go color black, let's just do that as a test. Variable panel tile background prefab has not been assigned. Okay, so there's a few that haven't been assigned for some reason. Let's see whether that works. If it doesn't, then doesn't look like it's on that many, so I can probably just manually set all of these. Don't know why they're not set, but like what panel is this anyway? Oh, that's probably why, because it's a particularly weird tweaked one. Probably need to organize these a little better into something. So let's create a folder that's puzzle, panel, stuff. And then all of these can go in here. Let's make a folder here that's like unused stuff, because there's probably some unused stuff. That's unused. Cursor's unused as far as I know. have no idea if that's used. Okay, so then yeah, that's fine. That cleans that up a little bit at least. Okay, let's keep going through these. Setting. Oops. I don't know if these are the only ones, but I guess we'll run it and see. Yeah, I get to where I drop about 10%, so it might make sense to bop this down slightly, which is pretty sad, but just means that I can't quite hit that always. Okay, so there's still some more. Okay, so this one says it's still not assigned. That's a little weird. Maybe it didn't like save the actual scene and stuff. Or maybe there's something weird with the way it got instantiated because it's one thing. Let's try clearing that out. Okay, so all these guys are fine. So it really does seem like it's just those. I'm not sure why they're showing up that way. Why is it still dropping so many frames? It's really annoying. Oh well, it was sort of an ill-advised test anyway, so I figured it probably wouldn't work. I'm just wondering why on earth why is... There we go. Okay, so at least there's some other things that are doing it. So these ones I actually don't really know why they would have a problem. Because these should be just panels. But for some reason I must have come off of a weird thing where I was messing around with it. So it becomes a question of, do I fix all these? I guess I should. I think these ones technically don't need it, but yeah. I'll set it up to where hide panel background works though. Like, why is that not doing anything? Like, I find that very distressing. I click this, it shows me this, but when I highlight it, I get nothing. Unity being annoying and not working the way that it's supposed to. Okay, that's got a panel tile background. I'll just go through them this way then. And add them all in. Should be everything. There might be one or two still that are miraculously just ignoring that. Okay, looks like there's still one. Let's see which one it is. Like why it won't view it. I hit F to focus theoretically, right? And it just doesn't. It's really annoying and doesn't make any sense. Okay, so it's one of these guys. It still doesn't have it. Okay, so that all works. So I need to set the color, not to color black, but to background. There's a base color. Actually change the color, so it shouldn't matter, but I could change the color theoretically now. So theoretically they should show up and look the same. And then this panel background color needs to get set. Okay, so then this will be if hide panel background. Hope that that works right. If not, then I'll have to set it up differently. Let's see where the panel background gets instantiated. If panel background is not equal to null. Hide panel background or panel types equal to panel snake. Set color, base color, that's correct. But this we don't want base color, we want low lit color, low light color. And that should work correctly then. At least for the ones that I have in the game. And they'll look like that. Oh shit. Except that when the panel's enabled, those need to not be shown. This looks pretty close to what I would want. They look kind of weird, you know, in a way, because you'd kind of expect that to go straight across and have a 2-pixel border on every tile instead of being the way it is. So that does look a little bit strange. I can do that other than just expand the actual thing. If I change the background thing to be slightly bigger. like it would not really work the way that I'm wanting. Seems weird. It's not quite doing the thing that I would have wanted. I'm just wondering if I make them bigger, whether it would do it by 1 pixel. Okay, well, let's try to get down back there and look at that real quick. So each one of these has 3 things now. It's tile background, which if I make a little bit bigger will look like that on all of them. Which is a little weird, because then it's too big over here. I'm just going to try looking at this in a hacked together way to see what it looks like. Guess that looks okay. It's just a bit weird because then we're getting like 2 on the outside of the panel. Here it just looks weird because it feels like there should be an extra one. So I guess that's okay. So I think I'll try that. Just go and make the piece itself bigger in the project stuff, prefab. Go 1.1. Oops, that's not right. That's not what I'm looking at all. I'll look at this. these guys. It's just a mesh renderer. So I guess it just depends on the Z depth on those. Let's see what that looks like. Because those wires, I feel like we're getting weird. This one's the wrong size, which is very strange. Not sure why that is. Guess the panel got moved. Okay, so those wires are all overlapping there. Also looks really weird to have that look like that. Let me go back up to that panel and take a look at it. Okay. So my assumption is the problem is the whole panel. Okay, so it's not that, it's gotta have to do with the depth of that particular sprite. If we take this guy here, this background here, because that's -1 is the problem. If it's 0, it's -2, it's -5. So the issue is that it's -1. And the others should be different. It should be probably 0. So that would work. So probably this should go. My concern is what the sprite, the player sprite is, but we won't worry about that yet. So it should probably go 1. This should probably go 1, 1. Should go 0. Okay, so I think the tile itself should be 1. Start highlight. That should be like 2. That should be like 3 or something. Some of these I really don't even know where exactly they start, but or if they're even used for anything. I think that's correct, roughly. Yeah, it looks better. Probably what I'll need is an actual thing to go over top of the whole screen, like the whole panel that fades it out when it's off. I probably will need that. So yeah, let's see how that looks. It's going to make a lot of these panels actually a little bigger. Just maybe fine, but in some cases a little weird. Like with these, it's a little weird. These probably don't need to be like this. I wonder, like, because I can't just shrink them down and put them over the ones that are disabled, because then you still get, well, I guess I could, but you still get grid lines is the issue there. It might look rather weird. Kind of the point was to disable the grid lines. Alright, I think that'll all work. Alright, well, like I said, that stream was probably ill-advised. We had a lot of drop frames problems intermittently. I did record it locally, so it could theoretically get uploaded at some point in a form that's viewable. But anyway, thanks for joining, and that was kind of fun. And we did a little bit. I know I'm looking at, looks like I'm looking at a watch that is non-existent, but I actually have a rash on my hand from something, I think some kind of cleaning chemicals. Anyway, thanks for joining. Have a good one.